Just for comparison, this is the case I bring to gigs. That is what I could bring to gigs. I've never really seen anything like this. It's a 3/4 Stella H929. The H929s, even when they were new, they weren't exactly precious. Elvis didn't exactly appreciate his. But they do have something that high-end guitars can't ever offer. And what a delightful little thing. You probably want to see inside of this. It's so cute. The name Stella is actually an old brand from the 20s. In around the 40s, I think it was, Harmony bought out the Oscar and Schmidt company and all the brands that came with it. Don't be mistaken, the Oscar and Schmidt Stellas are a completely different animal from the Harmony ones. Again, Elvis. The Harmony ones are just more utilitarian. Their bodies are made of birch, they're ladder braced, no inlays, just little spray painted dots and branding. Just plain Jane little machines that you could use for cribbing 1 second and then play them later that night at the gig. But this H929 is a 3/4 size one. It's small. It measures, what do we got here? What's that, 10 3/4 times 2? Oh God. 21 and a half scale length. Just for comparison, it's just this but shrunk. So cute. Why? I'm gonna talk more about this later. Man, it's sunny today. It actually came with a nut riser, and I don't think these were originally slide guitars. And therein lies the big problem with these Stella guitars. People start marketing them as slide guitars once they get to the point where they need a neck reset. You know, even though they are holding value a little more than they used to, they're often not really worth putting the work into to get them playing again. This was actually just given to me recently from somebody who was like, hey, I have an old Hawaiian guitar, do you want it? And I said, yeah, sure, bring it in. And he brought it in, and I was hemming and hawing, whether I were to sell this thing as like a small slide guitar. But the more I looked into it and learned about it, it's not a slide guitar. It's a student model guitar. And I thought, well, why don't I make this thing a student model guitar again? And so I decided to do a version of a neck reset. I think Ted Woodford calls it the Kung Fu neck set. I love that. There's more info about this over my Patreon. I have a little repair blog going on over there. But essentially, this is very controversial. I don't recommend anybody do this, but you saw this thing flush and then you go ahead and start it over. And again, it's all about what are you working with and what do you want to accomplish with it. I want to be able to make this guitar available for people who are just getting started, and that's all it needs to be. And how cool would this be if this was your first guitar? It's way, way more vibey than, one of those little first stacks over at Walmart. And I guarantee you this is gonna hold up for a lot longer than one of those, even with this Kung Fu neck set. But yeah, I really love old Stellas. I think they're exactly what they are. They're like a no apologies, sturdy, utilitarian guitar that you wouldn't mind bringing to the campfire, but you could bring to the gig later that night. Now, this one, it's not as great as like your average H929 because it's tiny, but it is great, and it would be a great instrument to start on. I'll play you something on your way out here just to again give you an idea of what these little guitars sound like. Let me know if you've ever seen one like this, or any other cool garage finds that are floating around the world here. I'd love to hear those stories. So, all right, thanks for being here, and enjoy this tiny little H929 Stella.